Please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
All right, so let's go over predictions. Devils Blues today, matinee game. I like the fact Nico Daws is in net, so I'm going to say 3-2 Devils.
Oh, okay. 3-2
And
Devils.
Jack Hughes is going to have a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 5, episode 22. As I'm gloating right now, one prediction made out of 82. One goes right. As the Devils beat the Blues today, 3-2 in overtime. I already knew that before the game. I'm here with Beer Baron. Shorts Guy, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Scotty has the night off. He's on assignment somewhere in LA looking for $4.25 gas because apparently it's cheap to him.
Cheaper there than it is here now, which is wild, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Fun times we live in, right?
Let's not get into that whole discussion.
We'll be here all night.
We'll be here all night, and it won't be a good discussion. One of us is going to get pissed off. Probably me.
Pretty much. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, dude. It's a good game. Good game today. I was actually at the game. It was my daughter's first game. This was really cool for me because I've been waiting for this for over, 3 years. And my goal was originally to bring her to her first Devils game when she was about 2. She's now 6. She just turned 6 years old. So thanks COVID and the whole pandemic for delaying this. But man, what a game to bring her to. We walk in.
Yeah,
Who do I see walking through the corridor? Cam Jansen. I give him I see him walking by, and I'm like, it was a really cool moment, man. Like, and Shorts Guy, you could probably relate to this. So I was talking to 2 kids that I used to coach. Today was the high school celebration where they brought in high school players from around the state, which was freaking awesome. I love when they do that. so they had all the high school kids there, and I bump into 2 kids that I used to coach, who now are coaches at Watchung Hills and Hillsborough, respectively. And it's kind of cool, hopefully, got that. I now have a coaching tree, which is what I'm trying to get to, I guess.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty wild, right?
Yeah,
right. What do Bill Belichick and I have in common? We both have coaching trees. And that's pretty much it. That's where it ends. But anyways, yeah, we're standing there talking to him, and then I turn my head, and I'm like, "Oh man, that's Cam Jansen." I'm like, "Hey," I go, "Hey, Cam, how you doing?" He looks so confused. He was like, "Yeah." I don't know if he wanted to punch my face or. So I was like, "Hey," I cheersed him. I cheersed my beer. "Hey, how you doing, bud?" He's like, "All right." And then he kept walking, and yeah, so that was fun. But hey, overall, a great experience today. I'm a little tired, but great experience.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I didn't even think, because I know pre-pandemic, we had spoken about the potential of seeing Cam at some point when the Blues were in town. I think it might have been pre-pandemic, or maybe at some point in the last 2 years. We had spoken about that.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, we did.
I think it was actually right before. Right before, I think.
Yeah. It would have been around this time too.
Yeah, we were going to make all kinds of plans to meet up with them and maybe do a podcast. And I didn't even.
And then we forgot.
I didn't even think yeah, then we forgot. And then all of a sudden today happened. It's like, Blues are in town. I didn't even, when you sent that to our group text or whatever, it's like, wow, I totally forgot he would even have possibly been there. So yeah, that's definitely cool. His reaction doesn't surprise me.
No.
because
he's never
seen intimidating, man.
Well, he's never seen us in person. He's only talked to us
on the phone.
No, he did a video.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Oh, he did.
He sees like a million people. He's gonna see some schmuck walking around in a Devils game like, "Hey, Cam."
But I wonder if he was shocked anyone recognized him.
I don't know. Yeah, it kind of seemed that way actually a little bit, because after I said "Oh, hey," then people around were he was with. I felt bad because I guess he was with his wife or whomever, and they were probably trying to get to their suite. And after I said that, you see people's heads turn around like, oh, crap, that's Cam Jansen. Like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Always going to be a fan favorite, Cam Jansen. That's for sure. 100%.
Absolutely. He's one of the few player name jerseys I actually have from recent years that I would still wear. I still want to wear.
Yeah.
So it would in hindsight, it would have been great to think about this ahead of time and try to get a ticket for today, but it is what it is.
We'll play the Blues. What are you going to do?
We'll play the Blues next year, and
exactly.
It's not like we won't play the Blues ever again.
Shorts guy, can we being that you're always our go-to when it comes to anything goalie related, what are your feelings about Nico Daws? Can we jump on the bandwagon yet? Can we start getting a little excited about it, or is it still too early? Because he's played some pretty good. He's played the Blues. He's played the Penguins.
He
won both of those games. It's not like he's playing the bottom of the league. Played in a few back-to-backs.
Yeah. I want to cautiously be optimistic. But at the same time, we had similar feelings about Mac Black not too long ago.
That's
and I mean, we've had exactly. We've had similar feelings about a lot of goaltenders since Brodeur, and a lot of flash in the pan goaltenders. And I really want to. I think I was just on TV. Anyway.
On MSG commercial?
Yeah, commercial for the Red Bulls.
Nice.
What else is new? So anyway, I would really like to. I really would like to get excited about him because he is playing well. He has a fantastic opportunity, and he's making the most of it by having those successful games. But we are. I want to say we've been so desperate since Brodeur left to find the next Brodeur, which we're never going to find.
No.
We've also been very desperate just to find any kind of consistent goaltending since Brodeur left. Because even for as great as Corey Schneider was, even though Sam disagreed, his injuries got in the way and really kind of kept him from being what he could. Or we didn't get the Vancouver version of him because all those injuries eventually cropped up, and we didn't get it.
And having a subpar team around him,
Yeah, and that's always going to hurt, And we went, I believe last week we went through the litany of goaltenders we've had since, and Kincaid was like the hot thing for a while, and everyone was like, "Oh, Kincaid," and then all of a sudden he went south. It's there's promise in Nico Daws, but I want to see it in a consistent basis.
Yeah, no, and you're totally right. You're totally right.
It's something to hope that there's something good there, because eventually one of these goaltenders has to work out. All good goaltenders start from nothing. I think like Vasilevsky came from being a drafted rookie, and all of a sudden he's I would arguably say the greatest goaltender in the league right now. He's one of the most consistent goaltenders in the league. But again, they all start from somewhere, and we eventually are going to find one. It's just a matter of who's it going to be, And it's disappointing to be like, oh, it's that guy, and then they don't work out. But that's one of the biggest things the Devils need to address in this offseason is getting good, confident goaltending, and that might be still getting that good solid backup, unless a goaltender for some reason, like Scotty keeps talking about bringing in Hellebuck, which would be unreal. Unless a goaltender like that becomes available. Or at least getting someone in here to mentor these kids, because they all are kids. Mac Black is still a kid. Daws is a kid. Schmid's a kid. These are all kids. It would be nice just to finally get consistent in goaltending.
Yeah, it would be. And I mean, I haven't gotten to the point where we start looking at the draft or like who's going to be coming up in the draft, and it's like quasi depressing to think about that, because it's like, well, here we go again kind of feeling of like, well, other teams are ramping up for the playoffs, and here we are like, well, what are we going to get, the number one pick? Oh boy. And there's a lot of really good talent in this draft. There's a lot of apparently next year's draft. I feel like we say this every year. Apparently next year's draft
is going to be better than this one, and we're going to have a great one. It's always like the next draft is always.
But it's true though.
Yeah, well, Bedard is going to be, or whatever, however you say his name, right? And that's how Connor Bedard, I think his name is. The kid is 16 years old. That's like supposed to be the next McDavid. I mean, by the way, I've seen highlights of the kid. I can't pronounce his name, but I'll tell you what, he could sure play hockey. That's for sure. He's unreal at what he can do. But who knows? Who knows what the heck the draft is going to be? Because you look at something that's been extremely surprising, and you have a 6th round pick right now who is just flat out playing some of the best hockey of his career. And that's Jesper Bratt. I know we have Daws, Dougie, and the Devils, or 3D that you want to talk about, but we should also be talking about how incredible this season is that Nico Hischier says February 1st. This is off the top of my head, so I could be wrong about some of the numbers. Since February 1st, Nico Hischier has 14 points. Jack Hughes has 13 points. Jesper Bratt has 12. Damon Severson has 11. I could be dead. I could be wrong. It might be off on one or two of those. I'm like 98% sure about those numbers. That's pretty damn impressive, man. And Jack is quietly having, not quietly, because, whatever, but he's having a pretty good season, even missing big chunks of the season. It's just, man, imagine what this team would be like if they had a Shesterkin or somebody like that in net.
Yeah, but it doesn't all come down to the goaltending, because there have been some games where this team has just looked atrocious. And then you get games where they're dropping 7 goals on an opponent, and you're like, what the? Who the hell is this team?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
The Jekyll and Hyde.
having a Shusterskin, and I never say his name right, and that's fine because he's a Ranger and it annoys Billy Dean. Shajurkin is what I like to call him to annoy Billy Dean. Anyway, it like having a good solid goaltender like that would be great, but again, it's hockey. You need a consistent, you need consistency and good players throughout your lineup. From the first line to the fourth line, from your first D pair to your third D pair, it's got to be good all the way through. And it's not like baseball or football where you can just have like a star pitcher or star quarterback and pretty much run the show. But a good goaltender will at least steal some games and build confidence. But again, if you don't have the rest of the rest of the pieces there, a good goaltender's efforts are going to go to waste. But then again, you look at a team like Toronto right now, who have a fantastic team, but they're going through such goaltending issues. Goaltending confidence issues up there. So it's like
which is crazy because Jack Campbell pre All-Star game was like, oh man, when this dude hits when he hits the open market, he's going to be making $10 million a year. There's a lot of people that were predicting him to like set the line of what goaltenders are going to be making next year in the open market, and Toronto was almost scrambling to figure out what they could do to figure out how to keep him. And now the tables have turned, and you bring up such a great point. The word consistently comes up, and it's for a reason. That's what breeds championships. And if you look back at any of the even when they weren't winning the Stanley Cup, the Devils just in general, when they were going to the playoffs every single year, consistency was always key. The lineup, the front office, the ownership, everything felt, the old saying is Lou Lamoriello would say status quo. And status quo, and we would joke or we get upset, like, trade deadline. Oh, come on, Lou, status quo, come on. But they were always in the hunt. They were always right there in the playoff race, They might have, and I'm saying this, and now as I'm thinking about it, as I'm saying this, I'm also thinking about, oh wait, they also had like a different head coach every other year. It felt like there were some inconsistencies, but maybe that's why they didn't win 5 or 6, Stanley Cup final or championship.
You can't be shooting at the coach's head.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, it's. The one thing that Lou for a status quo as Lou was, when Lou made a decision, that was the decision, and it was made no matter what the circumstances, and still, the fight again in first place.
Yeah.
With days before the playoffs started, is one example.
Like, are you talking about when he fired Claude Julien?
Yeah, the firing of Julien.
That was the best. And hired himself.
It's like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, I'll just take over the team. It's you look at stuff like that, and you're like, wow, this guy he makes his decision, and he goes with it.
Oh yeah.
You would, but I don't know.
What do you think about Lindy Ruff sitting out Ty Smith? Ty Smith responds.
He responded big time today.
It worked today. It makes you wonder, why the hell didn't you do it sooner? Like, that's my question. Is like, why not do it sooner? Unless they tried everything under the sun and was like, this is the last resort. This kid's just not listening.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. As we say that often, like, who knows what the conversations are. And he could have been trying to work with them. Ty could have been like trying to work through something, just couldn't get. There's something called the yips, like in baseball, like a pitcher or a baseball player, like Chuck Knobloch was really famous for this, who played for the Yankees, couldn't throw a baseball to first base out of nowhere. A professional athlete can't throw a baseball from shortstop or third base or second base over to first base. And people are like, that's insane. I don't understand how it happens. It happens. We're human. And, even the best of athletes, sometimes they go through a slump, but sometimes they get something stuck in their head that they can't get out. And, maybe that's where he was. Maybe they were trying to deal with it with kid gloves. And one day they were like, you know what? Go to your room. And that was it. And that was like the mean dad. Maybe it was the mean dad thing. Who knows? Who knows? But whatever. Today, he looked like a different player. And keep in mind, he scored that goal, came in helping out offensively. I couldn't. You're not almost. We were down low, so we weren't watching from above. So it wasn't like I was sitting there watching every single play. He did seem like he was happier, or had a little bit more of a pep in his step. Hopefully, it worked,
and hopefully it continues to work, and he remains consistent. Because I know he was one of the most frustrating players to see. It would be like knowing how touted he was coming in, and what he did last year, and then all of a sudden it's like the kid couldn't make a 20-foot pass to save to save his life.
Yeah.
So my hope is that they found that this is what works. It works with Bratt. Although at some point, these players have to be able to self-regulate and do this without having to be benched.
Yeah, without getting kicked in the butt. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not going to need this kick in the butt. They'll have all the motivation in the world just internally, just to get this done. So it's they're young. I get it. They need to learn and they need to work through this stuff. But when it comes down to it, eventually they need to become seasoned veterans that don't need to be benched. Not to say that even a veteran doesn't need to be benched here and there, because every now and then a veteran loses his way and have a reality check.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't. I hope it works, and I hope it's a long-term thing. Because we need this team to go in the right direction, and I think that we see flashes of brilliance. You're like, yes, that's it. But like this week was a sandwich week. We had a win today. We had a win on Monday, and we sandwiched 2 losses. One of which to the blue jerks across the river.
They had the yips that day.
Yeah, the whole team did. Except for Nico Hischier.
Yeah,
Nico Hischier. He had a beautiful goal in that game.
I'll tell you what. I was out with I was out with a couple people Friday night, and one of them was a Ranger fan. And before the game, like as our game was starting, I was just like, F your team, just to get it in, just in case the result happened the way it did.
Was it Kurt?
To get it in? No, it wasn't Kurt. It was someone else. Because at the end of at the end of dinner or whatever, he looked at me and he was just flipped me off. He's like, "F your team." I was like, "Yeah, I know." It is what it is. I saw the score. I'm like, well, hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, they're good right now. There's no denying that. Unfortunately, they're really good right now. So
yeah, you hate to say it, you hate to see it, but you know. However, one can only hope that they run into some steamroller in the first round of the playoffs and they're out.
Well, that's a team like the Rangers. What they're doing right now, they're really good. But the thing is that, and they said this on the radio the other day. They're like, they don't have that veteran leadership that's been there, done that type of thing in the locker room.
Yeah,
and that's a team when you go into the playoffs, they could be riding high, but if something doesn't go their way, all of a sudden they start getting in their own way, getting in their own head, and don't have that guy that's like, hey, yeah. So, it's a young team. Who knows what's going to happen to them? Hopefully you're right. Hopefully they get bounced in the first round by, whoever. I don't even care if it's the Flyers at this point, but which I know, obviously I know the standings, the Flyers are below us. Thank God. I know where I could just hear it. Someone like, what do you mean the Flyers? What are you, stupid? You don't even know. They're not even near the playoff. I'm like, I know.
Oh man. Now you know what Sam Wu goes through every single day
on a regular basis. Sam, I told Sam the other day, I'm like, I don't know how you do it, man. Like I have no tolerance for some of the dumb things that are spewed your. Yeah, you're still salty. You didn't get that PA announcer job. Blah, 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 blah.
You didn't get that PA announcer job. You suck.
You suck.
Stop writing.
You don't
Sam
know anything. Sam was dumb. Like, okay.
Just go away.
Bunch of keyboard warriors. Okay.
Seriously.
Oh, God. Just kill him with kindness, Sam. Kill him with kindness.
I try to be kind. You know, sometimes I answer back. Sometimes I actually like their insults. Like, you know, on Twitter, you just hit like. And if it's really good, I'll retweet it. So, you know, it's
a strange way of living life. I'm sorry, I hate you so much.
Well, there was this guy that was writing like all insults, and as soon as I liked his insult, then he starts following me on Twitter and stopped since.
Well, I can't beat him.
Whatever.
Join him. Can't beat him. Join
exactly.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you one thing that I noticed in the game today. Speaking of Dougie Hamilton, he had a few opportunities where he could have buried one today, and then seeing him get the overtime winner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just knowing that he's on this team for the next 7 years, and we have Jack locked up for the next 8.
Yeah.
And we have Nico locked up for the next 6 or 7. You know, the foundation of this team, Luke, oh man, who's ripping it up in college. The foundation of the team is good. It's strong.
Yeah. That's
it's
no
just
denying that.
Those little things, the little nuances of this team. Like you said, 1 minute you're like, damn, we just blew the doors off the Penguins. And the next day you're like, damn, we just got our doors blown off by like Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville's a good team, but you know what I mean.
But even like you go back to that Lightning game a couple weeks ago, it's like, oh wow, they're up 3-0 in the very beginning of the game. It's like, this is great, and next thing you know, it ends 6-3 Lightning. It's like,
and the game is over.
Yeah.
It's like somebody coming up to you and being like, hey, I got you this brand new car. You go to jump in it, and there's like no interior. You're like, what the hell? What is this? What are you doing?
It's a bait and switch.
Yeah, that's what the Devils feel. Bait and switch. That's the Devils this year.
Yeah.
New Jersey Devils. Come watch Devils hockey. Feel happy for 5 minutes and walk away sad.
Yeah.
I wish the Devils were like David Decker of Town Toyota, where you actually get a real Toyota and a really good deal off of Route 46 in Ledgewood. That was
that's
a plug.
not a sponsor whatsoever.
No, it's not. But he hooked Shorts guy up with the Toyota.
Yeah.
Hooked my wife up with the Toyota. When there's no
absolutely.
Toyotas around. Yeah.
We'll talk to you guys after the show about that. I might be in the market soon.
Yeah,
I'll go to David Decker at Town Toyota.
Yeah, seriously. Go talk to David Decker about it.
This was my experience with David Decker, okay? There are no Toyotas, but there was one on the show floor, and there was probably vultures ready to put a bid on there, and here comes David Decker on his day off. Yo, put 1,000 down. I'll hold it for you. Tell your wife to come in tomorrow.
Did he high five you when you said that? Like,
yeah. Yo.
I can see see that moment in Rocky with the two hands, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, so like powerful hands like collapsing together. And somebody standing off to the side, like, what the hell just happened? Those guys just beat somebody up? I don't know what happened. Anyway. Yeah, good times, man. Good times.
But seriously, I think getting Dougie Hamilton back, I mean, he is one of your marquee players on the team. Getting him back after that jaw injury, and just again, I wanted to see consistency and progression. In my opinion, I think that Daws is the real deal. It's just a matter of let's see if he stays healthy. Let's see how he is under pressure. So far, he's passed the test. But I think Daws is a year or two ahead of schedule. None of us would have thought that he would be playing at the NHL level now.
No,
in the beginning of the year.
We all assumed this was going to be Mac Black's, ship to sail. And be captain of the ship all season long, and then Mac Black just didn't materialize. And who's to say that, Mac Black finally gets whatever it is that's wrong with him fixed. And he goes back to that form that we all kind of fell in love with. And we're like, yes, this is it. Like an in-form Mac Black and a Nico Daws as a backup would be great if it were to pan out that way.
Or the other way around.
Or the other way around, absolutely. Maybe that winds up being the combination. Who knows? But eventually some goaltender has to work out. It's got to be. But then again, as I say that, the one team that you think should have eventually gotten a goaltender to work out with all the talent they have, Edmonton, like they cannot find a consistent goaltender to save their lives at all. That team has so much wasted offensive talent because they can't find someone that's not named Mike Smith who lets in goals off of his, lets in butt goals all the time.
I was about to say, what do you mean? Mike Smith is not the answer? at 48 years old or however old, he's pretty old. He's been around the league forever.
He's younger. He's younger than me, so.
But guys, do you know who I think so far is probably the most improved player throughout the season? It's got to be Jonas Siegenthaler. He is now a stopper.
He's definitely one of them.
Like, he was pretty good in the beginning of the season, but now he is like a reliable stopper that can shut down the opposing team. And, and because of his play, I think it's also helped Nico Daws out, with the goaltending, because, if you remember last season, guys were wide open in front of the crease, like every single game. And then during Ranger Hate Week, I don't know, there were probably 4 Rangers wide open, open season on the Devils goaltender. So, but I think Siegenthaler, is just, he is really, really getting better and better. And he scored the other night. We don't need Siegenthaler to score. We need him to shut down the opposing team. He does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen.
We've definitely
seen.
Okay.
We've definitely seen some improvements in players this year. It's not like
I'm just kidding.
It's not like it's been a completely lost season. At least in as far as I'm seeing, it's not been a completely lost season. It's just a consistency, and I feel like we keep coming back to that, and that's what consistency, and it's the lack of that's killing us. Imagine if we can consistently drop 4 to 7 goals in on teams. We'd be well ahead in the standings than we are now.
Yeah. By the way, I wasn't distracted, Sam. I was just trying to look up that stat that I was saying before from February 1st. I saw it before and I couldn't re-find it. But yeah, I know. I should have screenshotted it, but yeah, dude, the consistency of this team is the killer this year, and I just hope going into next season. And by the way, the trade deadline being 2 weeks away now, and so you're going to see things get ramped up really big. And the Devils were already rumored to be one of the hot teams of, moving pieces around. So there's guys that are, it might be one of those things where anything that's not screwed to the floor is going to be out the door. So it could be that, or it could be like, a couple pieces like a PK or somebody. That also depends. Like, I don't know. Either way, this team is going to look a certain way next year, but there are certain pieces like a Siegenthaler, like a Dougie Hamilton, Jack, Nico, Dawson Mercer with Jack, by the way. Wow. That's been fun. That has been a lot of fun to watch. It feels like this is what Jack has been missing all year, is this, a kid that can drive hard to the net and actually finish on a play. So it's been exciting to see that. So there's the dead hole right now of the third line that needs to pick up, and the fourth line is, if the fourth line's doing what the fourth line should do, they don't need to be monster producers. But that third line is just like, Janssen, what happened, man? Like, I know he had a point the other night, but he's got to pick up his game. Zaka's got to pick up his game. He kind of like fell off, and now he's floating around on that third line. And Thomas Tatar, Big Tuna, what's going on? Where the hell did he go?
I mean, he's been he had his scoring troubles in the beginning of the season too, so it's not like this is something new.
No, exactly.
He finally popped that goal, and then he did pretty well. And then after that, it was like, "Hi, hello, where are you? Where'd you go?"
Yeah. But once again, oh boy, the name of this show should have been Consistency.
Yeah.
And then brought to you by like Metamucil or something like that. Be regular and consistent. Metamucil.
No.
No bait and switch here.
No bait and switch here, just straight dumps.
Dump and change.
I got dump and change. There you go.
By the way, Beer Baron, do you know who was a -1 today?
Who?
Your boy, Mikey McLeod.
I know. He's had a rough go. He's another one that I love him to death, but he's another one that's like he's hot and then he cools down. Then he's and when I say hot for him, like a goal in 6 games. But he the fourth line, but he's a fourth liner. Like we don't need him to be putting up points if he can go out there and defensively shut down another team.
Yeah,
at
that's
least
kind of his role.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Bastion line, I feel it's been missing Miles Wood. I think Miles Wood was the the fuel that got that line going, and when he comes back, who knows? Maybe it's different. Jimmy Vesey at the trade deadline, who knows what's going to happen to him? I like him. I'd like to hold on to him, but I think he might be gone. But I don't think he fits the other two's mold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trade deadline is going to be interesting, and who the hell knows? We could potentially just not be as active as we're assuming.
Yeah. Or nobody wants anything.
Or no one wants anything. And I don't want to. Yeah, and that possibility is there too. The last thing that I want to see is players moved for dumb deals that don't need to be made.
Yeah, like a 4th and 5th round pick, even though those help out, but it's like, come on. Like, do we really need to stock the cabinets with like old beans? Like, come on.
Yeah. You're not going to do your championship building here unless you're on the cusp of the playoffs or looking to bolster your artillery for the playoff run. We're not going to be, building a championship team here at the trade deadline. That's built, June, July, August, going into September.
Yeah.
So, it's, I guess, prepare to be let down or prepare to be heartbroken by who goes out the door. Here's a tip for everyone: don't buy any personalized jerseys between now and the trade deadline, because
unless it's like a Nico or a Hughes.
Yes,
because those you could probably get away with.
Probably.
Or a Hamilton, Dougie Hamilton, you could probably get away with that.
Probably, but then again. If some absurd deal comes along at the deadline,
it's got to be pretty. For those guys, it's got to be astronomical.
Oh, I get that. And I know it's not going to happen. But if an absurd deal comes along that just can't be passed up, which I don't know, which is damn near impossible, because what team is going to unload crazy talent, that it's going into a playoff run?
Yeah,
it's
like what team is going to be like, we're this close to winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And we want Jack Hughes, so we're going to just unload everything we got. We want 8 first-round picks, you can have it. I'll tell you, he looks so, watching him live, he looks so unreal. That kid is he's so smooth and so slick in and out of the corners. Like I know he's like
it's almost like a video game.
He's a negative, he's a -12 or something like that on the year. He might be worse than that. But golly, he does have those video game moves that, like, oh man, he just mashed the B button. Look at what he's doing now.
Yeah, no, it's I love having him wrapped up for a very long time, and it's just going to be so good for us. Eventually when this does all come together, and it will come together, and according to Sam Wu, it's what, Sam, 24, 25? Is your prediction?
Yep. That's my prediction.
Well,
and remember, I got a good track record in the beginning of the
you
podcast.
got one right today.
Out of 82.
You got you got one right today, which means that your next 375 might be right. But 376, I guarantee, is going to be right.
What does Sam know? He's probably still mad.
I hope he put that on salty.
I hope he put it on Twitter and you shut up, Sam. You got lucky. Shut up, Sam. Your PA announcer dreams are crushed. Thank God. Thank God you didn't get it, Sam.
You're nothing. You're worthless, Sam Wu.
You're really thanking God that he didn't get that? Okay.
The internet's a crazy place.
Oh, it is. It is. It's wild. It's filled with dreams and aspirations and
just
people that hate
because you have a
Sam Wu.
podcast doesn't mean you should be a PA announcer. Your voice sucks.
You're oh, thanks. And by the way, enough with people giving the guy grief that got the job. Dude, who cares? You really that wound up? Come on.
You know what? You know what?
Sounds fine. He's fine. Leave him alone, you jerk.
I will say that. I will say this though. I've had people come up to me personally when I'm at Taj to tell me things that negative things about Joe, the current piano, and I tell them like, settle down. It's like I don't hate him, so why are you telling me you hate him? It's just weird. It's
people,
and then, and I it's like to tell you the truth, he's living a dream. It's like
and good for him. Good for him, man. Crying out
loud. It's like somebody going to Shorts guy be like, oh yeah, that E-Bug, he sucks.
I do now. I have him. I have him.
Yeah, and then Shorts guy is
destroyed.
And then the Shorts guy has in his mind he's gonna be like pulling off the Tanya Harding Nancy character.
I was just thinking about the Pen Pals episode of The Simpsons when Moe wax burns in the leg with the pipe, and he goes, "Oh," thanks, you masked assailant. You finally fixed my tricked knee," or whatever he says.
Such a good episode.
Oh God. Pen Pals gets a Harvard.
Yeah,
was it Harvard? A Harvard diploma? Is that what he's getting out of the? He's trying to get ends up getting the.
Yeah, he was trying to get some diploma out of the. Yeah, and then they just have
right.
and just be.
My name is Otto. I like to get blotto. Favorite. We're gonna go off on a small tangent right now. My favorite two moments of Otto in any episode was one, he's walking out of a store. I think when they made the pier, he's walking out of a store that says pot store or the pot store. And he goes, "Man, that's false advertising." It's like a quick little hit. And then it's no pun intended. And then he's gone. For whatever reason, that line, like that moment always struck me so funny. That and when the bus goes over the bridge into the river and he's getting washed away and he just goes, "Hey kids, remember Led Zeppelin rules," and he just gets washed out to sea. Like it's.
There was that, and I forget the exact episode, but they go on a class trip, and Skinner gives him a hose to go siphon fuel out of another bus, and he winds up getting a mouthful of fuel. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I wish I wouldn't wish I wouldn't have had the mint first," or something like that. And it's just like hysterical.
That show is so well written, and then whatever.
Well, up until season 13, and then it goes off a cliff.
And then it kind of
anyway.
It has moments.
Back to Devils hockey.
But yeah, dude. Overall, I gotta say today was a great experience. And by the way, I got one of those black jerseys as a gift, and I wore it for the first time today. And I'm like, I actually like it even more. Like when you wear it, I'm like, oh, it's actually pretty sweet. That jersey has grown on me a lot. But I have to say, like when we were there, this dude walked by. and I guess it was one of the military appreciation jerseys. It was, military green, and it had a black logo on the front, and it looks so freaking cool. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, is this third jersey, is this it? Is this the one that they're going to roll out every year, or is this going to be something
next
different
3
every
years?
year?
No, it's next 3 years. That's what it is.
Do you know that for a fact?
I
Stan,
think
what do you know? You're all salty.
My sources said in the press release when they came out with that jersey, I think it was 3 years with Adidas. Okay. I think. I don't know.
So if they have a retro reverse jersey, they could have 4 jerseys next year, because that's coming back next year.
The green one is coming back.
Well, they're bringing back the concept. It's going to be like retro reverse 2.0 or something like that.
Okay, curious what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I got to wear mine to a game once.
And by the way, that green one's slick, man. I love that one.
I like that green one. Yeah.
Me too.
I like that green one. Yeah. It's that black jersey's starting to grow on me, but it's still there's a lot of things about it. I'm stuck in
it's the
looking
logo
at
being
what it could have been.
Oh, I know.
I'm stuck in the mindset of what that jersey could have been, but yeah, it is. It's
like I almost want to buy one, and like I don't know if this is the proper term, de-stitch that jersey logo off, and then put the Devils logo on. Or something like that.
I would just do
coordinated.
Just do the NJ in white. No, like circle around it, like you know how they have it like highlighted around it.
Yeah.
Just the NJ in white.
Yeah, that would
look
sick.
Oh man, that would look so nice.
That would be sick.
Even if that had like a thin red border on it, would work as well.
Because the lettering on the back, like the names and the numbers on the back, are real tight. The overall jersey, and the overall look is really clean and really nice, but the whole like jersey cross. Yeah,
they just
that logo on the front, but then again,
they were overthinking it.
But then again, I have a lot of friends that look at it and they're like, "Oh my god, that jersey's great! I love the front logo and this and that," and it's like,
I think they're appealing. I think that what they're doing is they're trying to appeal to a more mainstream audience. So somebody in Vegas would like it just because it says Jersey, but know nothing about the hockey team. Yeah. That's my theory on it.
I don't know, man. Listen, the New Jersey Devils jersey made it into mainstream, like in movies and things like that. It was like getting recognition in like the hip hop community too. It's a good looking jersey, man. The logo, I think and yes, I am biased, but the Devils logo is one of the top 5 logos in hockey.
It's simple and unique. It's simple and unique.
It will never beat the Whalers logo. That logo is always going to be my favorite of all time. I think the Detroit Red Wings are up there too. But the Devils logo is just, it's right to the point. It's clean. It's right to the point, and it's like it's everything you want it to be. It's everything you want it to be.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Mucinex. Get that goober out of your nose.
Oh, jeez.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch. Yeah, at the end of this, we like rip everything down. We're like, surprise, we're really a Ranger podcast.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not that dumb. I'm dumb, but not that dumb.
In Bizarro World.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, boys. I guess we're at that point.
Thinking of The Simpsons.
Well, it's easy to do that. You just kind of go off into a little hole in your head, and then boom, you're into like a. It's in my head. It's usually like what is it like in Homer's brain, like the monkey playing the cymbals, just nonstop, like going in a circle. That's my brain.
Well, we can at least discuss the upcoming week before we close this out on
Yeah,
just the
go
constant. As
for
much
it.
as I love The Simpsons, and I can talk about it all day, but we got a homestand coming up between now and next Sunday. Now and next Saturday, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Next Sunday they're off. Colorado,
We
Winnipeg,
get
and
we get
Anaheim. It's gonna be.
we get to see
It's
Kel
gonna be.
McCarr.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see Hellebuck, which Scotty would love to if Winnipeg left him behind.
You forgot somebody. No,
Yeah, yeah.
we didn't forget anybody. They have Pavel Zacha. It's fine. You're good. Keep going.
Nope. You didn't forget anyone. Keep going. Keep going. Nope. That bag's supposed to stay here. I could
Yep.
just see if Scotty was working at the Prudential Center, he'd be like, nope, nope, nope. That gear goes over there, and the Winnipeg bus doesn't. They're not there. They go over that way.
Yeah.
If your name is Hellebuck, all the H's that way.
All the H's. Well, that was
Yeah,
the people were talking about that with the Vancouver game because there was all the talks
weird.
which
Yeah,
have
that's what we were
seemed to
talking
die
about.
down. Yeah, like the teams, the all the kind of rumors that were like swirling around that game
Mm-hmm.
have since kind of like faded out, which that tends to happen.
But we're also but then again we're playing them next Tuesday away. So it's another opportunity for those rumors to ramp back up and the possibility of maybe taking someone and leaving someone behind.
Yep.
Um,
Bring extra
I mean,
shorts, Pavel. Bring some extra underwear. You might be hanging out in Vancouver. Don't forget the toothbrush. Yeah. It'll be interesting because isn't that like kind of how it happens? Like those Bozer trades or Besser trades are rumors started swirling around big time, and it wasn't just like from us talking about it. It was like you see it everywhere, and then as soon as that game happened and things went the way they went, and the Devils had an awesome game, it just died down. It just like went away. Like nobody talked about it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, trade talks are going to ramp up as we get closer to the end of the month, and then on that, on deadline day, we'll see what moves get made before, or potentially, on that day, to potentially bring us new players for us to say goodbye to players. Who knows? But but that is a second opportunity. If any of those rumors had any merit, that's also a second opportunity for the higher ups or whoever makes these decisions to kind of gather together in a room in person and be like, so we're gonna hash this out. What are we gonna do if there's any truth to any of the rumors? So we'll see. We got some time, but we'll see.
2 weeks, and then the 21st is a Monday. So personal preference. Do you prefer things to happen before the deadline, or are you one of those people that like gets really pumped? And because we all do that. We all sit there and watch the phone or whatever, and you're, refresh every 2 seconds to try to see if something goes down on the trade deadline day. Like it makes that day way more exciting. But do you prefer it to get done before, or do you like it happening on that day?
I personally, I would like to see it done before. I mean, it's an exciting day to watch. I'm also no fun at questions like this because I've become, after the whole Kovalchuk debacle of him signing or not re-signing that summer, I became such just like a flat out like,
who cares?
Out of my control. What am I going to do?
Exactly.
Whether they announce it tomorrow or a minute
or
before
Parisi making a decision.
Yeah. I've really come to that like, well, it's out of my control. Like, what's the point of me? I mean, I do enjoy the excitement of seeing things roll in. Like, I do enjoy, like, I know we're talking about deadline day, but the first day of free agency, like, it's fun to see where players sign and who signs first, like at the stroke of noon. Like, it's fun and exciting. To me, it's like, I think it's better business to get it done sooner rather than later. because you're not left hanging. You're not left adding pieces in kind of like a panic move. Sometimes I don't understand why some things have to take to like the 11th hour. But that's just me.
I get more of the selling part of it than the buying part of it. Like the selling part of it, you want to wait as long as you can because you want people to.
Yeah, I get, and I
because there's teams that are like, we don't need it right now, and then all of a sudden an injury happens, and they're like, oh my God, we'll give you 4 first-round picks for Mike McLeod. You're like,
yeah, and I understand that.
Yeah.
So what's your preference?
I think I kind of float in between because I agree with you. It's like it's out of our control, but like it is nice to see things get done sooner than later, so you don't have to have that, and the anxiety. It's just like it is exciting. That day is exciting, and it is exciting to see like, are we going to get a Vern Fiddler or are we going to not get a Vern Fiddler, or like, like so we. That's a Lou type of move right there. A Lou.
That's a name I haven't heard in forever. That's a name I've forgotten.
But like the Devils like do things where it's in the past like the whole status quo thing. So you would get all excited and then nothing really would happen, or you would get a very kind of like low key trade. Bryce Salvador for Cam Jansen, and you're like, oh, what the hell is this? It ends up being a great trade, but.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead, Sam. No.
I'll tell you what annoyed me in the past. I don't know if it really happens as much now that we are in the Twitter world and all that, but it used to be 3:00 rolls around, nothing, but you don't find out what really happened at like 2:59. By like 5:30 p.m. and then word breaks out, because I think that happened with that big trade that Lou did. I think he sent Randy McKay and Arnott. Didn't he do like some deadline deal where he broke up the A line, and it was like at the last minute, like at 2:59 p.m., and they didn't announce it till like 5:30. It was to Dallas. He traded Arnott and I think Randy McKay, but Langenberger didn't go back. You guys remember?
I think you're mixing up a few things because
I think
I remember when the Sikora was to Anaheim. He traded Sikora to Anaheim, and got Jeff Friesen back. He got Jeff Friesen back in that trade.
It was I think it was Kevin Constantine was the coach.
Yeah.
At that time.
Well, that nowadays it's like it kind of takes the fun out of it because Shorts Guy was saying like on free agency day, that used to be so much fun because noon would hit and then like you'd be this guy, I can't believe so and so signed here or that guy signed there. But now with Twitter, it's like they leak things and you find out things like way before it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And most of the time, some of these guys, like an Elliot Friedman, they're like dead on accurate. Where you're like, who was it?
It's become a bargaining tactic now. It's become a tactic for bargaining.
Sure.
Which, by the way, looking up an article, just trying to find out what Sam was talking about. 10 best deals made by Lou Lamoriello. Number 5, acquiring friend of the podcast Grant Marshall.
There you go.
That's number 5 deadline day deal in the top 10.
Isn't like a break the world, shattering move. But that was Lou. No, it was always these low key moves that would work out.
It was a low key move, and it's like, okay, we're bringing in Grant Marshall, okay, and then Grant Marshall ends up, being so pivotal in that cup run. And then he became a really good friend of the Let's Go Devils podcast. So it's like there's the two top things he's done as a New Jersey Devil.
That's true.
In the cup, then be on our podcast.
Yep.
So it was Arnott for Neuendijk and Jamie Langenberger.
Oh, that brought Langenbrunner here. Okay.
Yeah, so it was Randy McKay and Arnott for Langenbrunner and Neuendijk. And I remember that being announced around 5 o'clock. I think trade deadline was 3 p.m. back in those days. I don't know what it is now.
It still is. It's still 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's still 3 p.m.
Mhm.
So it's like you think, oh, Lou didn't do anything. And then like 2 hours later, you're just like, what? Because you trade one of the A-line away. It was just like, it was a stunner. But it turned out to be a good trade.
But at that point, wasn't the A-line pretty much broken up? Or was Sikora still with the Devils at that point? Was he still?
No, he was still with the Devils.
So he was still at the Devils.
I think he got traded in the. I think he got traded.
No,
that summer.
No,
after.
I think did. I'm pretty sure he got traded the year before that.
No,
because the cup final that he got knocked. The cup final that he got knocked out of was the Daws final.
Yes.
I'm looking it up right now.
It was 2000.
I think
but he was still with the. No, he was traded.
No,
he was traded for Jeff Friesen. Jeff Friesen and
Jeff Friesen.
0203.
Pivotal piece to that Stanley. And if anybody's like, oh, I don't know, like go check out that Ottawa series and tell me Jeff Friesen wasn't pivotal.
But that Langenbrunner and Arnott trade was before Sikora.
Yes. Yes. That's crazy, man. You look back at like certain moves and you're like, that could have been. What could have been? Yeah, like that's the whole, that you could do that with every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
If Marty makes that save on Anze Kopitar and the Devils end up winning that game. If Kovalchuk doesn't hurt his back in 2012.
Yeah.
In that Flyers series. There's so many things that happen. If Bernier doesn't get that BS call, do they ride that wave of momentum and go on to shock the world and come back from 3-0 down?
If we would have just won one of those overtime games.
I know.
If Mike Danton actually kept his real name.
Good God.
Whatever happened to him? We'll have to get him on the podcast. I don't remember. We should get him on.
Why not?
Googling his name right now.
Am I wrong? Didn't he go to jail?
Yeah, for conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah, something wild like that.
But he actually resumed his career after he got out of prison.
Good for him. Just pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well,
all right,
final
thoughts, guys. Yeah, final thoughts.
Sorry, long day.
That's fine. Beer Baron, why don't you start final thought? You were there today.
Final thought, it was great to be in-house. Awesome experience to bring my kid, my oldest daughter, to her first Devils game. I got to see my parents were there. My wife is there. We were there with our good friends John and Carrie and their son Sammy. Dude, what a great time. Even if they lost, it would have been a good time. But the fact that they won in overtime made it even better. My daughter, when we were leaving, she goes, that was so much fun. I go, I know. And she goes, but please don't yell in my ear next time. And I said, oh, I'm sorry.
So, true advice to your daughter would have been like, yeah, well, don't get used to this.
Yeah.
Bait and switch.
Yeah, bait and switch. But that's my final thought.
Don't get used to wins like this, and don't get used to sitting down low, because the podcast doesn't pay enough to afford these seats. Oh man, my final thought is, do some damage this week while at home and get some consistent wins. I don't want another sandwich week, but it's going to be a tough week. So we'll see. I think this week's going to tell us a lot about this Devils team. Here's hoping for some success, and maybe we'll start seeing some moves with the deadline coming up.
Final thoughts. I think Nico Daws is the real deal. I think he's going to win 4 straight on this homestand in goal.
Nice.
Also, congratulations to Bruce Driver, Morristown Beer girls team playing in the championship game tomorrow at Prudential
Nice.
Center. I listened to the interview with him and Sam Kassan, Devils Hockey Network, and he's been in the game for a very, very long time, coaching high school hockey, and it's great. It's great to see, back in the day there were no girls teams. The girls just played on the JV teams, whatever, and the fact that it's growing amongst the girls. Maybe one day we'll hear Beer Baron's daughter being on one of these teams. And and I think we've come a long way, because back in the day, it was just boys teams that had teams. But now you have both. And Bruce Shriver was kind of a pioneer to get that done. And he told his story about how at the last minute he became an investor of the Twin Oaks rink in Morristown. Yeah. And I remember that's where I used to practice before it was a rink. Used to jog around those fields doing fun runs. I remember
fun runs.
Yeah, and going across Whippany Road, and 4 lanes of traffic to get back to Morristown Beard. Anyway, but congratulations to Bruce, a good friend of the podcast. All right, so I'm gonna hit the music here. There we go.
There it is.
Want to thank all those listening, dropping the podcast at midnight. Keep it here. The Let's Go Devils podcast. Also, State of the Fan address later this week, Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I think Nick has lined up some really great guests for that show. And also remember, Game Day Live and Devils After Dark, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And also, I'll be at Todd's Lounge 973, my first public appearance since December.
Nice.
Meeting Little Fireboy. I'm going to try to get there on time. It's going to be tough, but I'll be there doing Game Day Live with Vinny Parisi. And maybe I'll invite a guest over. All right, guys.
That'd be nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you all
problem,
those listening in. Till next time, let's go Devils.